Alright, so in this one we are going to be doing the classic Dragon Ball Legends tier list. Now, it has come to my attention of usage and obviously playtime with this character that UVB clearly received his equipment, and he is wreaking havoc. This man, talk about him when we get to him because he's clearly on the list and he's clearly making an impact, but he is doing way better than probably people expected, like, you know, maybe UGB better than arguments. Why is UGB even a release? If this red unit, that's an Ultra Fusion as well, that's red. Why is he even, like, here? Why did UGB drop if UGB was going to happen anyways? It kind of just goes against the mold. But, again, that'll be a later discussion. He's impacted the tiers to a degree to where this is mandatory in my eyes. So, we'll see. Next week should be a Universe Rep thing. They already, you know, put out the whatever they call it, the campaign schedule essentially, and we're gonna get Universe Rep. A lot of people are thinking it's gonna be an after party, you know, cool character, but like nothing crazy. So like a God Topo thing. People are saying a UI Goku, which like it's after party. You're on fucking tar if you think that. God Topo, I feel like hits the mold of UVB, Vados, both God Key, God Topo, God Key could be like Purple Legend, glaze up maybe UGB. You know, if he's ranged, glaze up UVB. If he's more strike-based, we'll see. But, again, that'll be next week, which should be another tier list next week because of that, because new units should be very good enough to make impact. But we're here, and unfortunately, the bottom tiers don't matter. Number 10, I do have Goku Bardock. Again, there's nothing here for these characters. They're okay. They're runnable. You won't guarantee lose with them. You won't win much with them, but you won't guarantee lose with them. Goku Bardock are just, they're blue right now. UVB, UGB are kind of like the duo ship that you're going to run into right now, because UVB is very good early game, UGB Stardust Fall. That's kind of what you're just wary of. So having a safety merit of Stardust Fall against it of Goku Bardock is there. Having obviously type advantage within most settings of Goku Bardock is there. They still lack individually. They still need to be better, and they still are, unfortunately, pretty mid. But because of color advantage and kind of how the circular wheel of the game goes within the recent years, it's something more than nothing. I can't glaze it. I can't say more. It's just, you can run game originals with Zaha, Goku Bardock, and, you know, Shallot, and there's your team. And, you know, they Zenka left the Boo Duo, and the Boo Duo is still, you know, one of the best, probably, right? There's not much here. Broly even gains more stock within being good against UVB, which UVB being as good as he is matters to something. So Goku Bardock can't be much higher because Broly, because they're also half blue. So, you know, they're here. They don't matter, but, you know, they can run. So that's something for you, really. That doesn't, again, matter too much, but does exist. Number 9, moving on quickly within these bottom tiers because you don't give a fuck about them, and I know I don't. Shin. Shin can run with these God Key units. We do have a plethora of them running here on the bottoms. If not Majin Buu Saga, we got Majin Buu Saga 1. And we got God Key of UGB, Shallot, UVB, Shin himself, Legend Rose, TGB at the end of the day. There's a lot of God Key run around, which you can't support, as well as Majin Buu Saga, at least one unit there within the Buu Duo. But unfortunately, he's just going to be the subpar unit. You know, it's one of those where, like, okay, Gohan and Trunks or UVB. You're taking UVB 10 out of 10 days, right? It's just what it is, because UVB is just more firepower and just better out in a bursting setting and just multiple ways I'll explain later. That's the same exact idea there. You know, you're really going to take Shin over the likes of anyone that you see at these bottoms here. A TGB, a Legend Broly, a UGB. No, it's your substitute. Goku Bardock, your substitute for like a Legend Rose or for a Green Broly, which very, very, very subpar substitute, but that's what these bottom tiers usually are. They're subs. Who really gives a shit about them? They don't mean much. There's a mention of like Purple Cell because UVB and that duo ship was good on release, but now Purple Cell is just like, if UVB's here, Purple Cell is like not even seen, if barely even seeable. Like, Purple Cell is a shell of his former self, unfortunately. I wish he was better because that duo ship would have been cool to run 3 years later, but there's no reason to, and that's why I'd value these two over them. But again, getting through the bottom tiers here and getting into actually things that start to matter, not too much, but start to matter, do have number 8 of Gohan Trunks. This unit is low-key. Is this the worst Part 2 Anniversary unit of all time? They went from people talking about their insurmountably, unfathomably the best unit ever, and they're above. Like, they're literally a gap in the game type of shit in Part 2, which I disagree with, but people were saying that. From there to this, and it's like, you could maybe push them up 1, maybe 2 if you really want to gas it. But going from 1 to 6 or to 8 is like, it's a fucking big drop within a, what, 3 to 4 week span. It hasn't even been a full-on month, I'm pretty sure, within this unit releasing. So it's been a time. Again, it just goes to that situation where why would you run Gohan Trunks over UVB? You probably have a higher start UVB anyways because he's just older and he's returned a zillion times. It's a fusion. You know what fusions are, unfortunately, is what they are. As well as from there, Gohan Trunks were kind of already getting checked out within the Buu duo. So the Spirit Bomb exists, where you're not, defense neutral within Gohan Trunks or having a neutral setting. The Buu duo does 1 strike card against you, and then boom, Gohan Trunks is, Gohan's holding his arm as if it's about to fall off again, and it's like, holy shit, what do I do from now? And there was no real green idealistic unit to run with them. Within Broly, running with Gohan Trunks was really a thing. Shallot Gohan Trunks, Shallot's also getting victimized by Buu duo anyways within the type neutral setting, so there was really never nothing for this character, and now it just got worse because now they're fully replaced on their own team. If you were to run Future, you're going to run UVB as well as both Goku Blacks. I would say that's the best Future variant right now. Gohan Trunks there, sure, you can run like the Zenkai buff, and I ran it initially, actually. Gohan Trunks and UVB together, and Gohan Trunks didn't do anything. They were 10 stars, also double Zenkai buffs as well as UVB, and it wasn't even the contention of like, oh, look, who they might be doing better. It was sad. It was a shambolic experience to see Gohan Trunks on a team looking so weary and so irrelevant. TGB was feeling better than Gohan Trunks, and come to find out, after using TGB more, he definitely is, as you could, presume from this so far, but they really aren't anything. No endurance isn't really the biggest factoroid for them, but it is a factor that does definitely impact them at a negative degree. They don't tank UVB's normal cards while they can debuff them and, do it to everybody, especially, again, the unit that's replacing them, UVB. It just doesn't matter. They can't soak. They don't do anything. Hybrids is not a team. Blue Revhan is off boost. He doesn't matter. Purple Revhan, he's going to get 1 to 2 carded by majority of his units in these top tiers within the first life, if not just gimmick mechanic of like UGB, Buu duo. UVB does a couple strikes, Legend Rose, just infinite combos you because you have like a holding card that you had of green or blue. There's so many ways where Hybrids is not doing what it once was, and Hybrids even then was not as strong as people implied it to be. So in turn, everything about them just has to get worse and worse and worse. Their team doesn't exist. They're replaced on their team. Nothing really has benefited this character since their release. They've only gotten worse since their drop. Because while Purple Revhan dropped as a Zenkai, and it's like, that's helpful. Did they even ask for it? Not really. They were still doing their great job on Future. Then they just had Hybrids to run as well. It's not like they needed it. They just had it. So, Gohan Trunks, don't know what the fuck that unit's doing. It's so bad that they are worse than number 7 of their Part 2 counterpart, Shallot. Yeah, that's... Yeah, that's a sight. This unit I hate, so, I gotta take a sip for that. But, Shallot here, number 7. You can run him. I mean, he's a worse Broly. He always will be a worse Broly. I will never go against that because Broly just does so many good things for you. Intangibility is for one, but, still, just generalized speaking, he'll never be better than Broly unless, like, some crazy shit happens for Game Originals. It gets, like, 150% support to them, which they already have a crazy support, but still not good enough. He does the green cards. It helps UGB. It helps UVB. It's always been helping UGB. Now UVB can do the green cards, which... It's okay for UVB. I don't even gas that, to be honest, because, like, majority of the time where you're UVBing, you're just oppressing and going and going and going. And I guess the feint gimmick with Shallot into UVB, like, just being as strong as he is, or UGB doing the Stardust Fall, is a good trio duo ship there. But again, he just has a more fine setting. It's not even great. It's just a fine setting. Here's a green against a blue Buu duo. Here's a green against Legend Rose. Here's a green against Goku Bardock. Compared to Gohan Trunks, where half their element, here's TGB that can kind of victimize. Here's obviously these other blue units that can do their job very well against them, if not even the red units can, because they're super Zenkai buff reliant, because they're a tag unit. It's just kind of their notoriety at this point. Shallot, I wouldn't say he's beefy. I would just say he gets his mechanics to be more effective than Gohan Trunks. Whether you get the HP debuff thing that sticks forever, I forget the technical term, whether you get the feint, whether you get the cut pen, whether you get all these things, whether you get the infinite green stop times that just pisses off your opponent, because I know it pisses me off just seeing them. you getting any of these things is definitely more consistent in my eyes than Gohan Trunks ever being more relevant in a match than any other unit on their team. There are settings where Shallot can actually feel decent and actually feel like he just makes more significance, or he has a factor that could theoretically, within his gambling kit, give you significance in a match. So I would give him above the Gohan Trunks there, which, again, this is just pathetic. Frankly, I think this is the worst outcome that could ever exist, because the cool character of Gohan Trunks, which, actually newly animated compared to 2022 ugly ass here, you'd want him to fall off because it just looks ugly. But he's above and he's better, and that's just what that is. Now we start to get things that start to really, really matter. Again, I don't think anything right now that I've mentioned is that relevant. I don't really fight any of these characters. I guess Shallot's the one I fight the most normal, so, him being the highest of these, 4 is cool, I guess. But start to get to things you really will fight. Not every match, but, more. With it being number 6 of Legend Rose. Yeah, I mean, you would think he'd get better within a new red unit, but this red unit's pretty fucking spooky, so I can't really put him too high. But he is doing all right. He still has a team within Future. Again, Future, I don't even like Future that much right now. Like, I'd prefer if someone ran Legend Broly, UVB, and, like, transforming Goku Black, and you just make the bench somehow work within that. Like, you literally VB, and then you bench, like, Dragon Fist, Yellow Z Broly, and whatever the fuck else, right? Like, you just make some bullshit work within that, overrunning Legend Rose on that team. I just feel like that's just better off for you, implying that TGB is better, and obviously he is. Legend Rose, though, there just isn't anything where you'd prioritize him in my eyes. Shallot, you could kind of get a little bit greedy and overdo it sometimes and just get him murdered, and that happens. Legend Rose really wants to be your main guy doing shit, and he just isn't. The Boo Duo will do their prep mode, UVB will do his super strong early game, UGB will kind of be that mid to late game with the Stardust Fall and ramping him up, Broly will kind of be your annoyance factor, and TGB is just kind of, okay, gauge, okay, strike blue, and then boom, move on. Legend Rose is just a little bit too greedy in my eyes to do anything that's more effective and more of a fast-paced setting than any of these other units can on this list. He's not bad per se, he just is greedier than units that are better than him that are also greedy. And that's just kind of where that falls at that point. Again, he's not in turn hurt by UVB's existence, given everyone technically is, but he specifically is not. It's just better units do better things and faster things and matter more when they actually do their things. So, Legend Rose, gotta take a dip. Again, even more so to mention, I would say Broly becomes more valuable now, even though he was already super valuable in Part 3, more valuable now than ever before because of UVB, and that also would hurt Legend Rose, but again, that's like a minute detail. It's just a detail that has to be brought up, though. So then we move on into the big 5, and I think this is where the tier list actually starts to kind of matter. Number 5, kind of. 4, where it really starts to matter, but 5, it's teetering. I definitely think this unit is good enough to talk about, and it's like, you should try running him, because you wouldn't have a bad experience of TGB. This man is going through it, bro. He is managing through this entire Annie, not unscathed, clearly, because he definitely, had a little bit of lower lights, and I guess this is technically a lower light for him, because from Part 1 to Part 3, he's kind of been retaining that super high degree, but he definitely is still doing a very good job. I know you see UGB, you're seeing UVB, and you're like, how? He could tank, bro. This guy, he heals it all back up. It's kind of like a Legend Broly. Again, I just consider this guy like Legend Broly because he wants to be that, I transform, I heal, I tank, blah, blah, blah. Having these cancel buff effects from my team as well gives you a lot of safety merit for him because UVB's ult can't be canceled endurance null. Having that kind of be a situation for yourself, not the neutral because, you get it on the gauge and you fill the gauge and then boom, boom, boom. But the endurance null, this guy could just, if not live that ultimate, just by raw defense of being defense neutral and all that, he can just pop main, transform, and get back to full health. And it's like, yeah, you lost your endurance, or basically didn't lose, but like barely didn't. You still get to full health. You still get back to a state where you're not just in peril dying. Legend Rose, while he has a similar vibe within endurance, Legend Rose is clearly much more susceptible to getting murdered outright from characters because he's not having the beefy stats that TGB has. And you'll see the trend here within UVB once he gets placed that these plat equips, bro, they just give those super high values for these characters. Red Broly, kind of an anomaly because he's kind of a one-trick pony, and UVB is to a degree as well, but I think this guy, TGB specifically, is doing his tricks very much more effective than he ever has. Again, this guy on release was complete shit. Not even runnable. Red Diamond Goku drops. What the fuck are you running this guy for? Legend Super Saiyan 3. Or rather, Legends Limited Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Transforming drops. What the fuck are you running this guy for? UMV already exists. What the fuck are you running this? TVB. Like, what the fuck did this guy even do? Nothing. But now, he's standing the test of time. He's lasting through the entire anniversary, even the after party, with a red unit super duper buff that has done a lot of damage to the top tiers and adjusted them to a good degree. And the yellow is just like, I'm all right. So we'll see what happens. I expect the next unit to be purple, so he might even get better. And again, if it's God Key, you could just pair them together, and it's like, it's a good dealership. We'll see, but TGB, I don't expect to go anywhere anytime soon. He just kind of has that everythingness that you really desire, and he's quick. He's not like Legend Rosé. Legend Rosé takes time. Gohan Trunks arguably take time. Actually, they just do take time. He's quick. He's quick, and he's bulky, and that's really all that really matters. He stays where he kind of has to be here. I don't think he'd go any lower. If anything, anyone below 6, I don't think can be going up or down. I think they just stay where they are. But now, really, you fight these units every match. Well, most of them. You fight them most matches. Of the top 4, being number 4 of the Boo Duo. Yikes. Holy fuck. Tag units, bro, they age like piss. Look at the fucking experience of the past. Most of them age like absolute asshole. But this guy going down this significantly because of a red is ludicrous, obviously, and it's justifiable, unfortunately, for the Boo Duo. You know, they deserve to be better than this, even though they are toxic pieces of shit, because the LF Boo Duo was so disgustingly mid on release, and they dropped as a pre-5th year anti-bait, and it's like, what the fuck? And then Ultra Kid Boo gapped them, and it's like, what the fuck? And Ultra Rosé already existed, and it's like, what the fuck? They deserve to age better than this within themselves, and maybe something will drop that's like, okay, we'll kind of help them out, but like, we already got help for them when they first released, so I'm just not sure what they could really do to help this unit more. Listen, you don't really get your Spirit Bomb anymore. It's just really the biggest thing. And they're not necessarily Spirit Bomb merchants, but I mean, when you think of the Boo Duo, you're thinking of Spirit Bomb. In a similar vein of UGB, I think you think of Stardust Fall. You definitely think of it as good bursting, but there's at least a competition of Stardust Fall to, you know, bursting of UGB. I feel like the Boo Duo, you don't really ever think of anything besides Spirit Bomb and then 50% proc, and it's like, well, that in turn goes to Spirit Bomb. So they just don't get it. UVB doing what he can within, he refills his gauge very quickly. That neutral aspect was in the gauge. You'll 50% proc the Boo Duo super early game, and you can kind of avoid their disrupt within, let's say you run, you know, the bottom 3 right there, right? Broly, UGB, UVB, which I think is the best team in the game, and you'll see where they place because of that. But let's say you run those bottom 3. You get the first combo started, then you're using, let's say, Broly, because you just let him into the fight because, you know, green to blue. And then you swap to UGB, you do a couple cards, you waste the key effects of the Boo Duo, of the key, decreasing your key and upping your card cost for that stuff. You waste those 3 procs, then you go to UVB, you do the drop combo, you have no more key disruption available against you, and then you just sing. You just sing your song. You're going to make the Boo Duo swap out by the end of the combo because they're already in 50% proc. You probably could drop combo predict them, swapping to whoever they have on their team, and then everything just kind of cycles from there. It just spirals downward because the Boo Duo are now fucking knocking on death's door. They still have to get at least one priority to get their Spirit Bomb to actually happen. And mostly by that time, you have a unit already popped on Endurance, they have their Rush almost farmed up, they can go back into Green Broly and just stall you, and they just do annoyances. There's just not too much going for this character that makes them be their most effective selves, because prior to this, it's more like, okay, there's just no real green that's doing what we need them to do, like super duper bursting the Boo Duo down and just murdering them because they have defense neutral, and these greens are definitely not the most offensive spamming card greens. They literally aren't designed for that, which is okay, but it was a problem because the Boo Duo were just doing whatever the fuck they want and just wreaking havoc. now UVB is basically pretending to be a green unit and just destroying. There's probably better adjectives for that, but just destroying everything to where the Boo Duo feels like they're scared. You gotta keep swapping. Your Boo Duo is meant to be kind of like your disruptor of like, well, this stops now type shit. UVB is immune to card protection, or card destruction because it's card protection, first 30 counts. And then you can just kind of, you don't really get the Spirit Bomb, bro. I did a fucking long-ass video within this, and there wasn't one Spirit Bomb done against me. And it's like, I have double reds. You would think the Boo Duo is better than worse. But at the end of the day, UVB just has so much offensive neutral abilities that the Boo Duo are just really, really lacking against them. They don't have anything else. They have their one big disrupt, and then they have Spirit Bomb. That's all they are. I mean, that's really all they are most of the times. Again, they can do fine normal cards, and, you know, they have the Zenkai buffs that are easy, whatever. But there's no team for them that really stops anything. Like, you could look right there, 4, 5, 6, blue, blue, yellow. That shit, UVB is laughing. He is chuckling at that team. UGB, once he has the Stardust Fall, is chuckling at that team. It's a nothing. The only team that really matters is going to be the bottom 3 down there that haven't been placed yet. And the Boo Duo, well, they can be okay with, like, I've seen UGB, UVB, Boo Duo as a team. It's okay, but, like, it's just worse because Broly having, again, I'll touch on Broly when I get to Broly. Broly having his ways he could help you on your team more. It's just so much more effective than the Boo Duo maybe Spirit Bombing. Again, over 20 matches straight of no Spirit Bomb, and Boo Duo was in, like, probably like 12 to 13 of those matches. I can't just say it doesn't matter, right? Because you will see it from time to time, but it definitely is not as relevant as it once was within Part 3 being what it was. And sucks to be the Boo Duo, huh? Because it's been, what, a week, 2 weeks since they released, and they went from number 1, which very easily number 1, right? It was probably not a debate to anybody, to where they are now, which, again, a red unit did this, so shows you what tag units are. Never rely on a tag unit to age well. Again, history repeats itself. Most tag units age like shit. The one that's notoriously aging well is the tag droids, lasting from pre-Annie to post-Annie, but then Red LF Cooler drops, and it's like, tag droids were gone anyway, so they made it 2 or 3 months, and I was like, don't rely on tag units. Tag units will always let you down at the end of the day. Another one right there, Gohan and Trunks right there. Both these are anniversary releases, and they're both being worse than their post-release, if not same-day release unit, which, like, what the fuck is going on with that? I don't even know. But then we get to the big 3, which I think actually matters. Boo Duo matter, but, like, you know, not as much as the big 3. With it being Legend Broly number 3. Yes, this man is cookery. I would say, you know, there's a debate for 2 to 3 for me. I stand on that with it being Legend Broly or UGB, and I'll just, you know, put it there at this point just because we'll talk about them all kind of together because they all run the same team. But I think technically UGB does help more. It just is not as... I feel like Broly is doing it in a degree that's definitely more of a nuisance, and UGB does it in a degree that's definitely more of like a, you know, peril situation. So you might see Broly help more overall, but UGB's help is definitely more significant once he does help. So I think that matters more, the significance more than the technicality of happening, you know, so often as it does in this circumstance. But Legend Broly, he has the very, very strong effect of when on standby per transformation, he will reduce, or rather cancel, enemy buff effects. So in turn, if a UVB were to ult you on your anybody, and then you can just swap to an endurance unit, boom! You live! Because guess what? Legend Broly did that. Regardless if he actually pops your endurance or not, you still have your other life, and that gives you survivability aspects to where UVB does not feel as oppressive as he is, but still super duper strong. So Broly has that going from, in turn, I will have to talk about Broly's negative, since I just put them all together on the same, you know, spot placings. Broly could get destroyed by UVB. You know, maybe he won't lose his entire first life from UVB. I mean, sometimes he will because it's like a big star gap, but he'll get destroyed. You know, you get caught twice, you kind of kill this guy within doing a little bit too over-aggressive situations because, like, they're not aggressing, but, like, they do something to, like, counter your aggression. You could lose your Broly very quickly. So I think, in turn, that is the negative to his positive of the cancel buff effect for the team, and that'll harm you more than not. But still, he has very good of that intangibility, survivability, giving you the main seal within him getting his gauge, 15 counts every gauge he gets, so it's 30 counts total. The main seal, the rush seal, gives you that safety merit to where you just won't lose your Broly indefinitely quickly. It can kind of be stalled and delayed per match basis there. Again, given UVB can just do things that's like, they do a drop combo and you were doing taps because you thought they were going to do something else. And then boom, you just lost your Broly because he already popped the endurance within the first combo. Then you try to do taps or try to do something cutesy, and then boom, UVB fucking destroyed you. And it's like, boom, Broly's dead. Problematic, right? You lose the character. You probably lose the game at that point because Broly being that aspect of your, not even survivability, but just your team-wide, I guess you could call safety, is something you really desire for yourself. So Broly being a top 3 unit still and showing, part 1 actually mattered this anniversary, because a lot of anniversaries, part 1 units tend to not matter at all, at least in the degree that they do here, because now the part 1 units on this list, I think on most lists, are going to be higher than the part 2 and 3 units, which part 2, fine, but part 3, I mean, what the fuck did you summon for part 3 if you see this list? Holy shit, it's fucking shambolic. Then number 2, the UGB. UGB is a inferior UVB. I thought it'd be more close. I presumed it'd be something where it's more debatable between the two, but no. Early game, UVB is just better, and I think that's pretty easy to say. Once the game kind of progresses, you see more effect of UGB. Having him be able to spam where he does is very cool, obviously. Where UVB loses its card protection and the Dragon Ball immunity protection, it's kind of where you start to see the holes in UVB. Now, given a match can end before then, and that's why UVB is number 1. But once a match does progress past that 30, timer count's going to 50, 60, 100, 110. And this is not too commonplace, but it does happen more often, maybe than you'd like to say, or say for yourself. I think from there, the Stardust Fall's effectiveness is just too insurmountable to just pass up to where Broly would be better. If I see someone and I do a combo and I have 50 counts gone and like my UVB's not back, I can't really do much. My neutral's not even close. They have a Boo duo that have really just, they just beat my ass early game. Things happen. You don't really always get the first priority. You don't always get the priorities you need, and then game has to get more difficult. Then I have my Stardust Fall kind of back pocket, just blow up machine, where I'm going to kill the Boo duo because I just did a spam combo and then didn't even drop it. I just Boo duo get bombed out. They didn't pop their Spirit Bomb yet, or they did, and then I waste their Spirit Bomb. It's gone. It's fucking destroyed because UGB did Stardust Fall. Then their entire team's at 1 HP. Sure, again, it's not as commonplace as UVB just destroying an entire team 1v3ing, for sure. But that's what he can do within that, doing his spam cards, doing super high damage because he's easily double Zenk buffed on most teams you're going to run him on. And if he's on a Striker Blast-based team, UGB really doesn't care. He hasn't cared since part 1. He still doesn't care in part 3. In the after party, that effect that he can create within a match, he can 180 a match on its head. The Boo duo could do it, but I think UGB definitely does it more effective because this is just a time-based thing. Boo duo is technically usage, but how do you use them if they're dead? You don't, obviously. So UGB hits that number 2 for me, and then we go into the number 1. By the way, UGB does have Cancel Buff effect, which he doesn't tank UVB, but if they were to ult you, he had UGB in prior. He has endurance, same thing with the kind of Broly vibe there. It's just obviously worse defensively than Broly. But UVB number 1, that card protection, key protection, whatever the fuck, key protection that he has is stupid as hell. You can't really pass that up and ignore it. You start a combo early game, and sometimes it's better to wait for your main ability to become active within 25 timer counts, for sure, but a lot of times you start a combo with somebody else, you drop combo UVB, you enter because you have the vanish removal, as we all know, and then spam, 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 spam. Most units don't disrupt them. If they do, you can kind of proc them early. Like I mentioned with the Boo duo, you could waste them early. Legend Rosés doesn't even exist within that setting. TGBs doesn't really exist in that setting. Gohan and Trunks is, I guess, minus your cardio speed could do something, but not really, because you'll cancel it within getting the gauge, which is really fast. He can just decimate an entire roster on his own. I wouldn't say he gaps anything particularly, because while that first 30 counts is being super strong shape that he is, he does get worse after 30. All right, again, the protection gets away. The other protection gets away after, 60 counts of the Dragon Ball protection? Whatever it is. He starts losing his best merits to himself within, obviously, the key protection for himself. But he starts losing that best merit, and that's where kind of UGB, Broly, Boo duo kind of get to be discussed more and more and more. But again, that first 30, he gets the neutral very effectively within the offense neutral state, overall neutral state that he has. Within getting the gauge, you just spam cards, sidestep, drop, combo, predict. Do one drop combo predict, and then the match basically could end on its own head there, because there's not so much you can do against UVB early game. Again, once the match continues, sure, there's more answers to the character, but can't negate, the first 30 counts just because 150 counts more exist. What the match ends was in the first 30 because there's 2 units already dead because UVB did it all. And he does that a lot of games. So he is number 1 there. There's not much else I can really say about the guy. You know what he is. I know what he is. Again, I don't really understand, and this is a different talking point. This is just to say, why did UGB release? Again, if they intended to drop this UVB equip. We get a Vegito buff every Annie since the beginning of the game's history for the last 8 years of every Annie, and our one that happened now is someone that's meant to just, I'm not sure if he's meant to replace UGB, but he is meant to be probably on par, but ends up being better than him in circumstances. So I don't really get that, but it is what it is. It happened, here we are. UVB being the best of the best in the game. Maybe next week that changes. I couldn't tell you. This guy, I'm not sure how you make him kind of fall off within just, drop a blue beast equip and then, okay, now UVB gets checked down. Some shit like that. Or drop Go Frieza buff. Get their Zenkai happening. Make them actually good. I don't know what you do to UVB to make them fall down, but here he is. Being number 1 with the tier list being UVB number 1, UGB number 2, Legend Broly number 3, Ultra Budo number 4, TGB number 5, Legend Rose number 6, Shallot number 7, Gohan and Trunks number 8, and Shin number 9 with Goku Bardock number 10 LF. What do you guys think of my top 10 list for the 8th anniversary after party? See you guys in the next one for God Topo. Going to be top 1, surely, because you're going to be at purple with Hakai, and you could have 3 ultimates, and all of them have Hakai. Okay, thank you.